Good morning, everyone. This is the promised video for the next assignment. As you can see, I already have SolidWorks open. I also have the book open to page 5-19. We're going to do this wheel, this revolved part. We're going to do this wheel here. So just follow along. You are always encouraged to just look at the dimensions here and draw it. And in this case, though, because most of you guys are going to be going to the instructions, I'm going to click over here, and we'll just use this to get this done. So let's get going. It says to start on the front plane. So I'll go to the front plane here, click on it, then click on Sketch button, and that gets us right into sketch mode. It also says to start off with two lines, two construction lines, and you'll be able to see here that, well, I'll just do this as I talk. I'm going to go here and select center line, and when I do this, I'm going to click here on the origin, and then I'm going to drag to the right, because when I drag, making sure this is horizontal, you can see the little yellow horizontal mark, and I release, it terminates the command. And then I'll do the same thing up here. So now I've got my two center lines. Now you will notice that this center line here is still selected. Maybe I'm going to unselect it. And then it says to make this dynamic mirror. So to do that, if I just go up here, making sure that right here commands is selected, so you have help, commands, files and models and so forth. Make sure commands is selected and type in dynamic dy. You can see it has that, and if you just click right on there, it goes right into dynamic mirror, and then it says please select the sketch line. If I had this line still selected, it would have selected it automatically. And now I've got my two little lines up here and down here, which means I am in dynamic sketch mode. So let's start sketching this thing. I'll go back to my regular line command, and we'll just start here at the top, and I will click, come up, stop that, I'll start again, I'll come down to about right here, and I'm just kind of making it look like what's in the book. Make sure that's vertical, that's going to be at an angle. Come down, and then we'll just come right here to the middle there. I'll stop that, and then it says to close it off by making an arc, and we can see this is going to be a tangent arc. So I'm just going to go to my 3-point arc, and I'll click there, I'll click right there, and then I'll pull this up until it says the A equals 180 degrees, and you can see that that automatically gives me the tangent that I want. So I want that to be tangent. I did turn blue in here, so I am totally enclosed, which is where I want to be. So we're going to go ahead and start adding dimensions. So I'm going to just right click and hold, go up right into my dimension, and there's no particular order that you have to do these in. However, I do recommend that you give it the longest dimension first, because that way you don't have it all scrunch up. So I'm going to click on here, I'm going to click on the center line down here, and it says that that should be 3.45, so 3.45. Now you'll notice that I already have this thing set for 3 decimal places. Most of you guys have not been changing this when you need to. To change that to 3 decimal places, if you click here where it says IPS, the little fly out arrow, and go to edit document units, and you can see that I have all this set for 3 decimal places. The default when you guys first open up SolidWorks is it for to only be 2 decimal places. So you just go down here, you choose 3, choose 3 decimal places, and so now we're good to go. We got 3 decimal places, and so we'll just continue on. Looks like from here, sure why that was in a angular dimension, but we'll go from here to here. That's supposed to be 0.75. From here to here should be 0.25. We're good there. From this point to this point should be 2.256, 2.256. And it looks like I did let it scrunch down a little bit because there's this one dimension I should have added up here. So let me zoom in here a little bit. I'm just going to pull this. I'm going to pull this up if it'll let me. There you go. It did let me. Had to click on that dot. You saw what I had to do. And let's go ahead and add this dimension. Now I'm going to show you two different ways. Right here it says that this dimension here should be 4.25 to the top of the arc. And notice it says hold the shift. Let me show you what happens if you do not hold the shift. If I just go back to my dimension mode and I go from here to here without holding shift, notice that it automatically dimensions to the center of the circle. Let's do it again. This time I will click here and I'll hold down the shift key and click here. And with the shift key held down, notice that it dimensions to the top of the arc. So that's just one of the little details you have to pay attention to. This is supposed to be 0.425. So we're good there. Zoom out. Oops. I just need to get back to normal 2. I accidentally moved that. So now we're back to normal 2. So we're looking good here. Let's go ahead and put this angle in. So I'll get back into dimension mode. I'll click on this line. Then I'll click on this line. Now be careful. If you actually click on this point in the middle, where the center point is, it will not give you an angular dimension. It gives you a linear dimension. So let me hit escape. And I'll click this line, and being careful to click this line, not the center point. Then it gives me that angular dimension, which is supposed to be 15 degrees. I'll put in 15. And so we are now at 15 degrees like we're supposed to be. And this is supposed to be 0.25 over here. 0.25 is good. This right here is supposed to be from here to the center line. It's supposed to be 1.25. So we got that done. And looks like we've got all of our dimensions except for this one right here that says how far everything moves. I'm going to wait for that one. I'm going to show you why. There's a couple other things that I want to do. There are some relations here that I need to create. First relation, I'm going to get back into just my arrow. I'm going to click here, hold down my control key, click here, and I'm going to choose the parallel relation. Okay, so they are now parallel. The next thing I'm going to do is this one right here, and hold down control key, and that one right there. I'm going to make those collinear. Okay, we're good there. So let's see, what are we missing here? That I know what we're missing here. So now I am going to go ahead, and this one, notice that this right here is still blue. And so I'm going to get back into my dimension, and I'm going to click here on this line and here on this line. Notice that dimension is 1.83. If I pull that down below there, it goes to 3.67, and that's what I want to do. I want to go down to 3.67, and I'm just going to type in 1.25. So 1.25 shows me what the diameter is going to be after I revolve this. And all you really had to do was just pull that down below the center line, and it just automatically doubled what it was. And I'm gonna delete that and show that to you one more time, because a lot of you guys have trouble on this. Let's delete that dimension. And so I'm gonna go to my dimension again. I'll click right here. I'll click right here on this line. And you see it says 0.625. But when I pull it down below there, notice how it automatically changes to 1.25. It doubles it, and it makes it so that that is the way it is in the book, which is what you want. So it looks like we are fully defined here. And when you guys do yours, if you do it the exact same way, you'll have no problem getting this fully defined. So we're going to revolve it. So we're going to go right here to Features, we'll go to Revolve, and it says choose the axis of revolution. Of course, we want it to be the center line, and then we just click OK. For some reason, I have a battery-powered mouse, and apparently my battery's getting low. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my mouse here, but I'm not going to stop and change batteries right now. So we've got that much done. So it says that we need to add the 5 holes. So let's see where the 5 holes should be. These 5 holes have a diameter of 0.3. It looks like one starts right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to my ortho mode. I'm going to choose this face right here and start a sketch, and then I'm going to go to normal 2, and I'm going to start off by doing a construction line, just because I want to have my okay, we're good here. And so now I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to put that circle on that construction line. Go to my dimension mode. It says that the diameter of my circle should be 0.3. So it's 0.3. And it says that it should be on a bolt circle that's 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw a circle. Dimension that circle to have a diameter of 3.5, and I am going to do something here. You can see they have this circle here as a construction line, so I'm going to click on this circle, and I'm going to click this little box here that says for construction, and you can see that turns that circle into a construction line. Now right there where that point is, I'm going to click right here, hold Control. And what I just did was I just made that circle coincident with that line. I already had it coincident with that line. And so now it is exactly where it's supposed to be. And so I need to have 5 of these. So I want to go ahead and go to my sketch patterns. I'm going to go to a circular sketch pattern and select that. And so I'm going to choose this circle, because that's the circle that I want to use for my circle. All right. I want to have equal spacing. I want to have 5 of them. And then entities to pattern is not correct. This is the entity I want to pattern right here. And you can see I have my little preview here. It's hard to see. We do have 5, looks good. So now we've got that done. So now I'm going to go to my features. I'm going to go to extrude cut. And I'll make sure all these are selected. I'll just go through all. And I've got that done. Now, if you look at this, let's see what it tells you. You know, since this is a more advanced one, they expect you to go back and look at this, because some of you guys will miss this. If you just do it by this, you'll miss going back. And this is what I don't want you to miss. I don't want you to miss the fact that it says that it has a fillet with a radius of 1 typical. That means that all these edges should have a fillet with a radius of 1. And if you zoom in on this, you can see that the fillet goes around here, around there. You'll have the fillet around there. And it looks to me like they even have the fillet there where the holes are. So what we'll do is we'll go to our fillet command. We'll put our radius of 0.1, and that's already selected. And so we'll just go ahead and, you know, I'll choose this surface here. That surface there makes it have all those fillets there. I'll choose this surface here. Gives me the fillets there. I do want to have this edge filleted. And I'll flip this bad boy over. And I'll choose this surface as well. And this surface as well. And then this edge as well. And that gives me all my fillets. So this thing is totally filleted, and it is ready to go, and we will continue with our material of 1020 steel. I'll go right here, make it isometric, and go to my evaluate, mass properties, drag them up here. I would do my screenshot. After the screenshot is what you guys will turn in. And so this one is done. And you can see what the mass properties are as long as you are close. If you do it exactly like I do, it should be identical. Although some of you guys, I understand, have downloaded and are running 2020 instead of 2018. So there could be a tiny difference between the versions. And so that's why, as long as you're really close, I'm going to count it as right. I'm not going to mark off if you have a small difference. Just make sure you have all your fillets and you will be good to go. You know what? I'm not done. I can see there that I should have a fillet right there and there as well. So let's modify this. Because we are showing a, back to features, go back to fillet. I'm 0.1, still good. Should have a fillet right there, and a fillet right there. And the reason I picked that up is because I could see that little line right there on that version. And so if I go to this view right here, and if I were to, it doesn't really show it there, but that line right there indicates that there's a fillet. If you change this to you can see how it shows a line there, and you actually can see it right there. So we're going to call that as needing to be filleted. Again, if you leave those two fillets out, that probably wouldn't make enough difference in the weight for me to make it count off anyhow, but there. I'm going to go ahead and put this back as like this. Go back to my evaluate, mass properties, and you can see it made very little difference here in the weight, but we're good to go.